Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to open the course outline. What we are going to do now is I was going to have you take a look at the information on the website that we've looked at before previously, but I think that we're going to go ahead and stick with the book. You know, the activities that I've done with you previously are so that I can see that you have a broad understanding of what we are looking at and what we are reading in the book. So now what I'm going to do is, instead of having you do a lot of writing, I want you to pick out specific content. And some of you may have had some experience with this and some of you may have not, but we're going to create what's called content maps. Okay, and that's what we're going to work on. That's what this lecture video is going to talk about. And this content map assignment will be due on Sunday. Your personal notes from chapter 3 are due on Thursday. And then I'm also going to put a short quiz. I said originally that it'll be 30 questions. I think it'll probably end up just being 15. It'll be a little bit shorter, just so that I get you to concentrate on doing your content map also. Okay, so again, these two exercises are just so that I can see that you are having a understanding of the concepts in the book. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is that right now I'm just making sure that you have some concepts and that you have some understanding of the book. Down the road, as we look through some of this stuff, you'll see how this is important to you. And again, that's one of the main things that I always want you to be thinking about is, how does this impact what you are going to be doing? Okay, so what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about content maps. I know some of you have never done a content map before. So I'll provide you with a little bit of information. And this file will be in the content page on D2L. So a content map, what a content map does is it takes the key points from a book, from the chapter, and demonstrates that you understand these and how each of them works together. Okay? So again, the basic level of understanding, I can get that information from the quiz that I ask you. The quiz will ask you specific information. You can look in the book, you can refer to your notes, and you can answer it. But in order to understand how this all relates, that's why we want to do a concept map. Okay, so a concept map has the key points of the chapter and also the relationship. Okay, and it allows you then to connect concepts and ideas. Okay, and you know, there's a lot of different ways that you can create concept maps. I'm going to give you one example. Maybe you want to do it a little bit differently. That's fine. I really don't mind if you change how you're doing things, because really what I'm looking for is how you are organizing and how you are seeing how things relate. Okay. You also should be reflecting on what you know and what you don't know when you're doing a concept map. Okay. And the concepts should be represented by, you can do single words, short terms, you know, 2 or 3 things, 2 or 3 words and within a concept. Now, in the tool that we're going to use for this assignment, there isn't often an option to define the relationship, but you could do this in OneNote if you had OneNote between the connected concepts. Otherwise, what you can do is you can just, you know, if there's a specific term you want to include in there, you can include it within the concept map. Okay, and then major concept boxes will have lines to and from several other concept boxes generating a network. So that's the basic premise behind a concept map. You know, I have an example that I can show you from the chapter that we'll take a look at. Okay, we'll take a quick look at it right now. Okay, so here is a basic concept map that I've created, and again, it's a very quick one. I did not write anything on here. I definitely could if I wanted to. But let's take a look back at the steps that you need to take to create a concept map. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is the brainstorming phase. Within the brainstorming phase, what you're going to need to do is go through your notes, identify facts, terms, key ideas, anything that you think is important or associated with major topics. You can think about hierarchies, but for the most part right now, you don't have to think about the hierarchies very much. What I did, the process that I took was, for my brainstorming phrase, I took the notes. So these would have been the notes that I submitted for the first section within my chapter. And as I was taking my notes, I broke the different concepts, the different terms down into major hierarchies. So I did do some hierarchy work. So the first term that was important that I thought was Middle Ages. That's really what we're covering. That's what we're talking about. That's what all these concepts within this chapter are really talking about. Another key point within that first section was religion. And again, the section that I was looking at this is just the notes for that first medieval culture and graphic communication section. Okay, that was just the notes for that section that I started with. So I'm just going to show you how I got started. I'm going to give you enough information so that you can get started, and then you'll need to go ahead and do the rest. The other thing that was important was university and scholarly work, letter forms was discussed, and graphic forms. Okay. One other thing that I know is important, just because I read the rest of the chapter 2, was the codex. So I also created that as one of my major premises or major topics within my content map. Okay, then the next thing that I did is I just went through and I said, okay, what other aspects of these time periods? Then I looked at my notes. Okay, here's different things that I wrote about. Okay, Middle Ages, I thought, okay, that's important. It's a time period that may not be, right now, you may not necessarily include these different things in your concept map, but you need to make sure that you validate or you see that they are important. Okay, it's a decentralized culture, and a formal education took place within religion. Okay, so what does this do? Right here, that concept that I just circled, religion, that then again shows me that there's a relationship here between the Middle Ages and religion. Okay, and again, these are notes. This is how I came about my process. Okay, so what's important to religion? Knowledge production and dissemination. Okay, in religion, the monasteries produce the texts. And actually, you'll see that there is a text is actually the codex. Okay, so there's a relationship between the text and the codex. Within religion, literacy was associated with religious